Welcome back to another episode of Good Chatter. Josh Palet with Dave Palet. We haven't done one of these shows in a very, very long time.
Well, you moved away.
I did. I've been back, I think, 6 months here, 6 months in Nashville. I'm like a part-time owner of this house, I feel like.
Well, you're smart because you come when the weather is cold in Nashville and you get the good weather in San Diego.
And I don't pay for groceries or rent. It's the best deal of all time, so I'm pretty happy.
Washing detergent, any of that stuff.
Nothing. I'm basically a freeloading piece of shit, to be honest. But yeah, so first show we've done in a long time, and we wanted to talk about observations, things that we talk about every day when we talk in the kitchen or wherever it may be about things that annoy us, things that make us laugh, whatever it is. And I think you wanted to kick it off with some things that you see.
All the time. There's always something that bothers me. I hate to say it. Almost every day I find something where I get frustrated with people or situations. And right now, as we do this show, we're a few weeks away from Christmas. And everybody has their favorite Christmas songs, right? And everyone pulls the mood, the move, you walk into a room and everybody has an Alexa, and there's one even in this garage, so I'm always nervous by even just saying the name. But you always say, so-and-so, will you play, favorite hit songs, of the holidays or whatever. I'm afraid to say it loud now because I'm afraid it's going to start playing right now as we talk. But everywhere you go, there's Christmas music. It's always been this way. I don't think too many people get frustrated because they understand this is what it is, right? Mariah Carey's the queen of Christmas, right? She wants
self-proclaimed, yeah.
And she's good. She doesn't make
no, she's great.
Right?
Yeah.
There's certain songs I like, certain ones I don't like, and everything else. But you understand it's the holidays. I like this time of year. I like Thanksgiving to the end of the year.
It's great.
And it's one of those where people who go to Europe will say, look, in the month of August, people in Europe take off the entire month of August. And in the United States, who are we kidding? Basically, the week before Thanksgiving till the week after New Year's, no one does jack shit. You aren't doing anything.
Nothing.
Everyone's taking basically 6-7 weeks off, but you want to complain in August. Oh, those Europeans, those guys don't do anything in August. You guys are taking 6-7 weeks off. None of you guys are working your ass off. And I feel bad for anybody that loses a job this time of year. If you lose a job on that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which is the number one day of the year that people actually lose their job, good luck. Because think about it. Everyone's going to half-ass it till the end of the year. And then they're going to come back in their office, let's say on January 2nd, January 3rd, and it's going to take them 2 weeks to even get their life in order and get back into like work shape where they feel like doing stuff before they even go through your resume of trying to possibly hire you for the next job. So if you're one of those people, unfortunately, you lose a job right before Thanksgiving, man, you're out of luck for quite a while, and it kind of stinks, but it's the number one day of the year. I don't know why that is. Like, who fires someone right before Thanksgiving?
I have no idea why anybody would do that. I think the day before Thanksgiving is also the number one drinking day in the year of the United States.
Yeah.
People get most drunk the day before Thanksgiving. That's a bad day to lose your job.
It is, and I can't imagine you show up to the holidays and you see family members you haven't seen in a year or years, and how are things going, and you're just trying to hold back like, I'm holding it together, everything's good, but you aren't.
No, it's really bad. I'm taking this turkey to go.
Somebody just drop off turkey at my house.
Yeah.
I'm not coming this year. But it's just one of those things. But there are different observations all the time that I see, whether it's the holidays or not. But one of the things I was thinking about is music. Okay. And I was thinking about how music has changed from when I grew up to where you are now. And you don't even know the struggles that we went through. Like when I was a kid, I wasn't part of the 8-track days. Do you even know what an 8-track is?
I kind of.
Okay. Yeah. It's like a big cassette, like this big, man. Okay. It's like a box, and you shoved it in the car, and it kind of looked cool. I remember when I was a little kid, I'd see them and I'd go, what is that? And it was an 8-track of like whatever, Billy Squire. And, my like uncle had it. And I'm like, what the hell's that? And then as I got into radio, there were 8-tracks all over the place. All the commercials were played basically on 8-tracks. And you had to stack the commercials all the way to the ceiling. And you hit a break and you had to fire them all in the right order. And that's how, obviously the radio station got paid.
Yeah.
But it was such a hassle. And you had albums. You had 45s, and you had these big albums. And if your needle broke on your record player, you were screwed. And anyone who says music on record players is better today than it is on your phone, you're lying. You're straight out lying to yourself. It's not even close to as clear on your phone as it's clearer on your phone than it is on a record player. So for you guys that love vinyl, you guys are idiots. Keep lying to yourself. You're dopes. But you don't know. So for me, Josh, we went from record player to tapes.
Yeah.
You know what a tape
Yeah,
is.
of course.
You've seen
Yeah.
a tape.
Yep.
And we used to have to buy, you sit there and buy a tape, and depending what car you had, your friends had, it was hard to listen to a song again. It wasn't like now you just go back and you push one button and the song starts from the beginning. I mean, you had to rewind and then try and guess where the song was.
Oh, that
And
sounds like a nightmare.
It is. You're going back and forth. But if you had a buddy of yours that had a Ford, for some reason Fords only had fast forward. They didn't have rewind. So you literally had to take the tape, take it out, flip it over, put it in, fast forward, and then you had to flip it back and then try and find it. It was such a hassle. I don't know what Ford was thinking.
All right, I got a question for you. What song did you go back to the most? Where you're like, I got to listen to this again. What's the most played song?
It depends what friend I was with.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? Different friends like different music. I like all kinds of music. But if I was with my buddy Rodney, it was everything AC/DC.
Okay.
Or Van Halen.
That's cool.
Okay. If I was with my buddy Matt, it was Thriller, Michael Jackson. It didn't matter. It depends who I was with at the time. But I say all my friends started driving like 1986, 87. And that's when it got kind of crazy. But we had the tapes. And then all of a sudden, we could buy a tape with just a single on it. And that was cool as hell.
That's awesome.
You know, all of a sudden I'm running down to Music Plus and I'm throwing in Johnny Gill, you know, and that was cool. But for me, I'm like, wow. And then, of course, the CD players came out. You know what a CD is. And the CDs were super clear, much better than vinyl again. And that was absolutely fantastic. So you're all caught up on, man, music can't get any better than this. And then all of a sudden, you know, you start liking music, your brother's liking music. And I'm glad I have kids that love music as much as I do. But then when Apple came out with their different playlists, like kind of like, you know, your phone. Remember, it was a phone, but it wasn't a phone. It just played music. What the hell was that called? Do you remember?
The iPod Nano?
No. The Nano was the small one.
The small one.
Okay, well, let's stop right there with the Nano.
You're talking about the MP3 player?
What was an MP3 player, but it was like a phone. It was an iPod. It was just an iPod.
Oh, just an iPod. Yeah, just an iPod. Okay.
Okay, you just nailed it right there. Stop with the Nano. Explain to me what the hell was the Nano, and why would any of you guys buy it?
Okay, the iPod Nano was one of the dumbest things, maybe the dumbest thing Apple's ever put out there.
Yeah.
It was a device that was really small and had no screen, and you had no idea what song was coming next. It was always on shuffle, so everything was like Russian roulette when you're listening to music. Like, oh, what's coming on next? I don't even know. So I never understood why anybody ever bought the iPod Nano. We both never bought the iPod Nano.
I would never buy you that. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
That's like, it's equivalent of putting a blindfold on you, spinning you around upside down, and then taking it off, standing you straight up and saying, just run as fast as you can in that direction. It makes zero sense. You're never going to get what you want unless you only have one song on there.
Exactly, and nobody does that.
No.
Yeah.
So you're right. That iPod Nano was insane. If you owned one, it was like the size of a book of matches.
Yeah, exactly.
And it made zero sense why anybody would own one.
Yeah.
Why you'd pay the money for that. It had to cost at least $100, $200, right?
At the time, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, insane. So anyway, I was going through different music, and right now, as you're visiting in the house, you have an Alexa in your side of the house or in the room. We have like 7 of them in this house. They're all over the place. There's one right now where we're doing the show. There's one in the next room. I have 3 in my bedroom.
It seems like overkill.
That is kind of overkill. I have one in the bathroom, and I have one on each side of the bed.
Yeah, that's not necessary, but yeah.
It's crazy. So I'll tell you, use it for everything. Use it to fall asleep, playing the sound of rain or a babbling brook or whatever the hell it is.
Baby crying.
And then baby crying, thunderstorm, why in the hell would anyone make one of the thunderstorm? Nothing like trying to fall asleep and all of a sudden there's a big thunder in your room. Why don't you get the trash truck that backs up with the horn or the beeping? It's insane.
Mowing the lawn at 7 in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mowing the lawn at 7 in the morning. So anyway, here's some of the things I want to ask you about music, and music has changed. Are there songs out there that I know there's songs you love, but songs that you just straight out can't stand?
Yeah, there's a ton of songs that
as soon as it comes on, you're like, get that off.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. I'll just say one right now that anytime it comes on, I have to flip it immediately. That's Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. And
why? What happened?
I don't like anything by Lady Gaga. I don't like anything by Alicia Keys. I don't know why, but her voice. And Bad Romance in general has just been played so many times that I'm like, change it now.
Yeah.
It's just a bad song. Umbrella by Rihanna. Do you know what song that is?
Yes, I do.
Ella. I can't stand that song. It drives me nuts. And I'm trying to think. Those are 2. Oh, all right. This one is probably my least favorite song of all time. Crazy by Gnarls Barkley.
Yeah.
Dude, holy crap. Dude, you're driving me crazy. I cannot stand that song. Whenever anybody used to play that back in the day, I was like, dude, I got to get out of this car right now.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, I'm glad you said a guy, because for a while there, I thought you're just going, I just don't like female singers.
Yeah, like
it has
really
nothing to do with that.
Yeah, it looked really bad right there.
Okay, yeah.
So wait, do you have any songs?
Okay, I got a bunch. As you were saying it, I literally started thinking about it, and I wrote a few down. Okay, just that stood out in my mind that I can't stand. And when I have a friend that will tell me, "Oh, I love this song," man, it really makes me question them as a person.
Oh, okay, what do you got?
Because I sit there and I go, now you probably won't know any of the songs I'm going to say, but people who basically are listening, they're people my age will go, man, I went to school in the 80s. I remember those songs. And you go, okay, that's absolutely, you get back. Here we go. For me, I'll say every one of them is one of the worst songs. This song, Holding Back the Years by Simply Red, is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And then when you sit there, and I looked at my phone and it said, Simply Red. I just put it says top songs. I'm like, top songs? It's the only song. Like the only song I ever heard on the radio. But it was absolutely, for me, I couldn't stand it. Now there are people going, you're out of your mind. By the way, everything Dave Matthews sucks. Okay? Anyone like Dave Matthews. I'm not a Sade fan. There are people who swear she's a genius. Dude, not me. Okay, honestly, I'd rather spend time with Brittany Griner in a Russian prison than go to a Sade concert. There's no way do I care to see Sade in concert. Okay, Smooth Operator, bullshit, terrible. Okay, Krista Berg, Lady in Red. What the hell? Have you ever heard that song?
No.
Awful song. It's one of those where you sit there if you're on a date and you turn on the slow music station. Hey, let's listen to something a little bit slower. And then Krista Berg comes on, and you're like, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, absolutely terrible. Kokomo, Beach Boys, awful song. Do you know that song?
No. I like the Beach Boys,
though. It was in the movie. Well, Beach Boys are fine. That's, again, before my time, but Beach Boys were fine. The problem is they try to make a comeback like in 1987, 86 with the movie Cocktail. John Stamos played the drums. He toured with them and stuff. You know John Stamos
of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Full House.
Yeah, Step Brothers.
Uncle Jesse. Yeah. So, what was he in Step Brothers?
Is he the guy they talk about?
John C. Reilly.
No, they talk about in the scene with the John Stamos.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right. Sorry about that. We Built the City, Starship, terrible. Okay. Do you know that one?
No.
Okay. Worst song though of all time by far, and it's two legends. Okay. I like David Bowie. Okay. I like Mick Jagger. I like the Rolling Stones. They're legends. Sometimes you just have to appreciate people that were great. Okay, never seen either one of them in concert. Basically, the song "Dancing in the Street," Mick Jagger and David Bowie might be the worst song. And you know what's even worse than that is the video. You got to see the video. You're like, what the hell's going on?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it almost feels like they're making fun of the United States of America.
Really, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that wasn't their intention, but you're like, hey, what the hell's going on? Are you guys selling this over there? You guys going across the ocean and then selling this and saying this is what we're doing? But anyway, it drives me nuts. But as we get our different, basically samples of music from different platforms, I get mine mostly off my phone. Have my earpods in the whole deal. But in the house, I always talk to Alexa all the time. You know what bothers me is when I'll say someone like, and I'll just say A. I'm not going to say her name because she's going to start playing it. And I'll say, A, play the best of Morgan Wallen. And then she'll say, here's the best of Morgan Wallen. And songs that sound kind of like Morgan Wallen. And I'm like, that's not what I said at all. Why?
I don't want that at all.
Yeah. And then I yell at her and I'll say, hey, don't sass me. I'm talking to you and I'm telling you to play only the best of Morgan Wallen or Sand in My Boots. Here's a song that sounds like Sand in My Boots or something like it. Then why does she do that? And then
she's patronizing you.
Yeah.
She's trying to get under your skin.
It's like the Nano. Yeah. It's like, what the hell's going on? She's not giving me what I want. I'm telling her what I want, but it doesn't happen. But like, I listen to music all the time through Alexa. Do you listen through music
all the time? Yeah, most of the time. Well, dude, okay, here's another thing that drives me crazy. People that have, I'm not going to say the name, have A, and they're like, I can't have conversations around A because the government's listening to me. I'm like, dude, are you out of your freaking mind? Yeah. The government does not care that you need cream cheese and bread from the grocery store. Yeah. Nobody cares. But they're like, I can't buy one of those because the government's listening. If you're that paranoid about A, then you just shouldn't even be like, I don't even know. Like I shouldn't know you. Like you're crazy.
Percentage of people you know that are paranoid of Alexa.
Dude, like 30% of people that I know.
I think for me, because my friends are probably older and their parents obviously is still around. Honestly, I would say it's closer to 70%.
That is insane.
Like if you give someone, look, here's the deal. If you want that for Christmas coming up, I recommend you buy that for somebody you know is not going to want it, because they're going to give it right back to you.
Great idea.
And they aren't going to expect another gift. They aren't going to expect you to go back and say, well, I turned that one down, so you're going to go get me something else. They're just going to go, you know what? This isn't for me. I'm not going to use it. Why don't you take it? And you go, look at that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great white elephant gift, by the way. Wonderful white elephant gift. You could just take it right back for yourself. Yeah. Like you said, we have 7. I know people that have like 10.
Yeah.
You can do many things with a. Yeah. I agree.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, there's someone that you and I know very well that will sit there and say, it's tracking everything I do. It knows who I like on The View. It tells me that I don't like raisins in my bagels. I don't like it. The FBI is going to knock on the door.
Exactly.
I don't need it.
Yeah, we know this person very well.
And you sit there and you go, come on, what are you doing? Yeah. You think the FBI is sitting there cares that you freaking don't like raisins in your bagels? What are we doing?
Hey, guys, she's watching The View again. Yeah. She's watching The View.
Oh, big Joy Behar fan right there. Watch out. I mean, what, dude, it doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. And if it does work that way, I'm sorry. I was way wrong. I just don't see it working that way.
No.
They aren't tracking everything. All right. So there you go. I threw a couple different things at you that kind of bother me. As we get into this time of the year, we talk about Christmas parties. We talk about holiday parties, okay, as people do things. Do you get invited to holiday parties or you know, you see the Friendsgiving? I mean, you have friends basically in California and in Tennessee now.
Oh, yeah. I had a Friendsgiving in Nashville with my friends. It was a good time. I had a Friendsgiving here in San Diego. I have a couple of the ugly Christmas sweater parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those types of things.
Do you like the ugly Christmas party, sweater parties?
Dude, I do. I'm a big fan of that. I used to make fun of people at Friendsgiving. I love Friendsgiving now. I think it's because I'm getting older. Those things are cool. I drank eggnog the other day for the first time, so yeah.
Do you like the Friendsgiving better than the traditional family? I mean, basically, you're choosing who's at your Friendsgiving, whereas family, you're kind of stuck with people that you're related to, but you might not like them all.
Nah, the traditional Thanksgiving with your family, for me, is always the best.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's good to say. That means you probably have a decent family.
We do have a good family. It's always entertaining, for sure. What about you? Do you go to a lot of parties in the holidays?
You know what? It's the same kind of group of friends. We have some really close friends, especially in the community where we are right now. That I mean, they're like family to us. Obviously, we went through a terrible event, the worst thing that could happen to a family, where we lost a family member, and then those people have stood up, and people have stood up for us in San Diego like crazy, and in Los Angeles and Tennessee. I mean, we have some great friends, especially during the holidays. I think we're both very, very thankful. Yeah. My point was getting invited to parties, going to parties. Do you feel like you have to go to every party? Do you feel like people invite you just because they feel like they have to invite you? How does that go?
All right, dude. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
I know. That's why I'm trying to set you up.
One of my biggest pet peeves is the pity invite. And they're like, I'm the person that's watching the conversation. Like, hey, Dave, looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. And then I'm standing there like, what's going on? They know I'm looking at them like, what's going on? They're like, oh, yeah, I'm having a ugly Christmas party on Saturday. Like, you can go if you want. How about you go fuck yourself? Like, I will not be there. I hate the pity invite, dude. It's one of my biggest pet peeves.
You can go if you want.
If you want. I'm like, no, dude, that was the shittiest invite of all time. I feel like ass. Like, I wish I wasn't part of this conversation. But in high school, that was the worst, I think. In high school, when you found out from somebody else that somebody was having a party, you're like, if I show up, is it weird? And it was weird every time. It's never like you walk in, they're like, oh, hey, you're here. They're like, oh, hey, you're here. I'm like, beer's in the back. like, you just drink a sad beer by yourself. Yeah.
See, that's
tough,
wow.
dude.
See, sometimes there's something in my head that would say I'm showing up just to prove to them they made a mistake.
Yeah, you're psycho.
But not thinking I wasn't number one on the list. Like I'm going. Hey,
you have to be like the life of the party. Like, dude, we should have invited that guy.
Or just the opposite. I'm the guy that starts knocking things over.
Dude, how about this? I knew a person, I'm not going to mention them by name, that if they weren't invited to a party, they would call the cops and rat those people out. Like, hey, it's loud at so-and-so address. I'm like, dude, that's a bitch move.
Yeah, that is.
That's a bitch move.
That's a dick move, man. That's terrible.
Yeah, terrible. They do it all the time. Like, I'm going to show them a lesson.
People doing that.
Yeah. Like, oh, you're not going to invite me? Well, guess what? Nobody's going to have fun.
If I'm not coming to this party, no one's coming to this party.
Nobody. Crazy.
That's something else, man. Yeah. That's something.
You want to hear something even that's worse than that? Yeah. They would sit outside the house and watch the kids like jump over the fence, and they just laugh in their car like, look at these assholes.
Really?
Yeah, just like total dick.
Oh my God. You had a buddy of yours, I don't know if we've told the story here, I don't think so, that would go to parties and then charge people to go to the party after he got there, right?
Yeah, that was hilarious. I had a buddy. Yeah, I had a buddy that was like 6'5", 340 pounds. He would get invited to a party, not go inside of the party, stand outside the door, and he'd show up early. Show up to the party early, stand outside the door, and charge everybody a cover to come into the party, even though it was not his party. He would make $200 off of $5 bills. And he would take us out to eat after. It was great.
And that was it. That's a ballsy move too. And the people inside have no idea. There's basically the biggest guy in town is sitting there charging to get in their house. That wasn't going to be a charge.
Yeah, and then they told the person, hey, somebody's charging $5. They go outside, look, and see who it is. They're like, okay.
Yeah, I'm
not going to do shit about that.
Yeah, I don't want any problems. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, so we always have obviously a bunch of stories, and it's great that we still have Jake's stories. It's always my fear as we do this thing that we do these good chatter shows that eventually we run out of stories with your brother. But there are some that we kept a list on, or people remind us. We had a great benefit last week in San Diego for jakesprojects.org, which obviously is named after Josh's brother Jake and my son. And the charity is actually a great cause, and it's to help children and families who can't afford to play sports. We raise money, and then we help pay for whether it's fees, uniforms, different things to move forward, to give kids a chance to play sports. Also, one thing that I've noticed I've gotten a lot of attention towards is dealing with what Jake dealt with, and that's kids that deal with depression and anxiety. And I've done a lot of speaking engagements concerning that. So, again, I invite you to check out jakesprojects.org. Jake had a great personality. His friend showed up. Family obviously loved Jake, but Jake had a big following. And so we was trying to end every show with a Jake story. And so some of them seem a little bit ridiculous, but they always make us laugh, okay?
They're 100% real, by the way. We're not making this crap
up.
No
way. No, we aren't making any of them up. Otherwise, we wouldn't run out down the line at some point.
People ask me all the time. They're like, did that really happen? I'm like, dude, these 100% happened. Dude, all of them. He was a nut.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. So one of the stories that, again, every story that I told about Jake at the time, I mean, furious.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't hardly any of them where I was going, oh, that was hilarious.
Not
I was
at all.
Super angry that he did things. Outside of making that guy pick up the dog shit with his bare hands, I was like, God dang it, what's he doing,
Yeah.
One of the things Jake did, and Jake passed away right after he turned 20, but right before he turned 20, this is his 19-year-old year, and if anyone knows Jake always looked older than what he was. He didn't look like a teenager. I mean, when he turned 18, we went to Dodger Stadium, and he went to see if they could buy a beer, and of course, they sold him a beer. I mean, Jake looked maybe 32 years old. He looked older.
Dude.
And so I come home from work one day, and Jake is at our dining room table, and there's a very attractive woman at the table with him. And I walk in the house, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm trying to figure out, why is this woman in our house talking to your brother? And when he's a 19-year-old kid, like none of it mattered. And I'm trying to figure this out, and Jake's talking, and I walk right by, say, hello, how you doing? And I keep walking, and I walk into the kitchen, and I'm trying to listen. And I realize Jake is trying to sell my house. And I'm like, wait a second. Jake is acting like he's the owner of the house, and he is picking up on the real estate agent because she dropped off a card with her face on it, and she was smoking hot, and he called the number, and he wanted her to come on over. Like, I think he's seen a lot of movies, that go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, wait a second. And then he's sitting there saying, well, we're thinking about selling, and this might be the time. He's just bullshitting her like crazy. And I'm like, where do you think this is possibly going? I'm like, you're literally going to walk past the master bedroom and go down the hallway into obviously a room that isn't someone who owns the house, if they got that far. Like, do you think she's going to go that far?
That's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you understand you aren't taking her to the master bedroom. And if you were going to take the master bedroom, you son of a bitch, that's where I am.
He would have done that.
Yeah, that would have made me even angrier. Yeah. You know what? You're right. He probably would have done that move. And so
where are the pictures of these people?
Yeah. So So we end up getting the girl out of the house, and I lay into him. I go, dude, what the hell? He goes, dude, he shows me the card. They put the card on the door.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're interested in selling your house, call so and so.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you don't ever do that again. And dude, of course he did it again.
That was his thing.
That was his thing. He would call the girls, the smoking hot real estate agents, and he would get them to come to the house, and he act like he owned my house. And of course he's not going to sell the house or didn't have the right to sell the house, but he was doing his best to flirt, to make her think there's a big commission coming. If we sell this house, how much she would get. And this was his move. And I go, dude.
He used to dress up and shit like he owned the house.
Like he owned the house. Walked around like he owned the house. Talked like he owned the house. I mean, it was crazy sales pitch. I swear to God, if it wasn't for me walking in and cock blocking him, I don't know what would happen. But I'm telling you, it was ridiculous. Out of all the things he did at the end that I was thinking about, I was like, I would never do that. Like, I like to think in my mind, hey, why not? You only live once kind of a deal.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, for me, I would never have the balls to pull that off.
Dude, I can't believe he actually did that.
Yeah. Multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times for sure. I used to hear him on the phone like, let me check my schedule. Let me check my schedule. You're playing fucking Fortnite all day long. What are you talking about? Let me check my schedule. Oh, yeah. I have an open window from 12 to 2 if you want to come on over. What are you, psychopath?
He was a bullshit artist when it came to calling those real estate agents.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was thinking about it recently, and I started laughing. I go, man, at the time I was super pissed. But now looking back at
hilarious.
It is hilarious because I don't know anyone else that would have the guts to even try it.
Yeah.
And we all have seen those cards and going, man, there are a lot of attractive women selling houses. And then that son of a bitch is going, I'm taking advantage of this. I'm calling.
Dude, he's like the guy on the strip that takes all the cards.
Yeah.
That's my brother. Yeah.
100%. That is it. All right. We have more stories, of course, down the line, but I always love that we're able to finish these shows with a Jake story. And that one kind of just cracked me up as I was thinking about, because obviously it was a hot real estate market in the last year. And I was like, man, Jake would have had a field day.
He would have been in heaven for sure. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Good Chatter. Make sure you check out our other shows, Cooking with Cookie, The Young and the Washed, JP25 Media Conversations. See you guys next time.